10 hut troops. Time to bring the hurt in a tighter shirt as we crank the Jablonski for Baypril. Crank the Jablonski, that sounds rude. And we'll kick off, as the movies did, with the bot who puts the hella in helicopter, it's Studio Series Blackout. Now, I hardly think it's hyperbole to say that the opening of Transformers 1 kicks legitimate ass. Even the coldest critics gotta respect the ominous awesomeness of the Lone Chopper's mysterious approach spooking these hardened military men, the grim delight of seeing the facade crumble as Blackout transforms in the movie's first holy shit wow moment, the horrific spectacle of seeing the base laid to waste by this malevolent cyber ghoul, showcasing the fearsome power of the Decepticons and setting the tone for an instant classic action blockbuster. It's Bayhem at its best, which is why it bugs me that Blackout then vanishes from the film and only comes back nearly 2 hours later to get shot in the cock. Boo! Turns out the opening did set the tone, just not in the way we wanted.
You sure she didn't just fart?
Point is, Blackout was briefly a huge deal. He was the inciting incident, and for a lot of folks, he may well have been the first thing they ever saw transform. Not that you'd know it from his pitiful contemporary toy performance, dribbling out as he did a piss-weak Legends toy, a garbage Voyager, and an eventual decent yet way too dinky one in Cyberverse Not That One, Commander Class Not That One, until the Studio Series finally dropped a big gorgeous leader Blackout after just 11 short years. Now, Studio Series was, and indeed is, all about screen accuracy and scale, so they sort of had to rewrite the rulebook on size classes, meaning the words leader class kinda lost a lot of their bite, scaling down from big fabulous lights and lasers fun bags to simply mean a tall robot. God, how often do we have the leader class chat on this channel? It's like every time. And our boy definitely looks intense. Big Jack Blackout here is a hulking mass of military machine, by turns bustling with mechanical nausea or slathered in smooth copter armor. Somebody was sculpted for their life here. Like, I am living for the upper body glamour shot. That hench round heli chest is such a banger Transformers design moment, with the clockable real world cockpit peering out from the encroaching Cybertronian corruption, like glimpsing the face of a loved one in a zombie horde. And I'm obsessed with the headboard mounted cylindrical death turbine, and the rotor blades cascading down his back like deadly Deceptor dreadlocks. Dig the smashed up hula skirt looking defiantly dangerous down there, and the head is the epitome of movieverse baddie bot energy, nestled into its plinth of malice, insectoid and alien with a spiked crown, Deceptor badge brows, and the furious red laser eyes burning a hole in you. You can kinda see the Soundwave influence there, right? I'm pretty done with the word iconic at this point, but if this ain't it. Anyway, the main gimmicular thrust of the Studio Series is the studio. Those pack-in backdrops, or pack-drops, which empower fans to photograph their favourite Baybots in their most famous on-screen locales. In Blackout's case, the aforementioned rare nighttime action scene at the base. But real shit, I binned it. I binned all of them. Even the 86 ones. They just ain't much cot, man. I never used them. Did you? At some point, you're just hoarding cardboard. And that's a fire hazard. And with hindsight, at the risk of maybe not being the Bayverse's strongest soldier for a sec, I don't know if I would have posited a new range of premium action figures based on this look, and sold them on how well they photograph. I mean, the movie bots do so often wash out into indistinguishable gunmetal trashgasms. The colours do him zero favours. It's just mildly varying degrees of grey. Degrays. Which is screen accurate, but ain't that the problem? These have got to be some of the worst arms I've ever seen on a toy. They're so encumbered with helikibble, or encoptered with helicumble, that they can scarcely muster a waggle, and they never look right. They never make sense. These wrong-facing turtle fingers are all arse about face, and it's so much panel. Every face is just panel. It's layers upon layers of confusion and pain. Much as it wounds me to say this, come on, Blaze Master. Mercifully though, the legs are loads better. He's really working the overdeveloped mecha mess here. Like, they're not coated in it, they are it. And yet they function surprisingly cleanly. Love the omnidirectional foot flop and shish kebab shin guards. He can even stretch up a smidge thanks to his cheeky double turkey knees, which makes him a touch taller, but does give him a sort of drainpipe skinny jeans vibe. I'd stick with the squat, honestly. It just balances out a bit better with his beefy heli belly. Oh my god, bellycopter. Anyway, for actual accessories, he's rocking this wrist-mounted rotor thingy with his own name written on it in the font from the film, which I'm all for. Hashtag live your brand. Definitely appeals to the part of me that loves G2. So all of me. And around the back, oh my god, mate, it's tiny baby Scorponok. This is a pretty solid version of our little bug friend. Just a mostly static little critter with a conspicuously brilliant paint job and some vaguely waggly weapons. And that's all he needs to be. He doesn't need a naffo shoehorned robot mode or a forced target master form. Just let him be the little mate. This thing is wicked. So yeah, Blackout's robot mode certainly has its many ropey spots. But overall, it sort of surpasses its flaws and comes out just on the right side of extremely decent. It's the best retail rep he's had by a large margin. If nothing else, he does absolutely nail that head and shoulders snapshot, and that's honestly all I could want from him. Studio! Certainly a spotty situation, but I love how the cockpit works, how the fuel rod and the little bulb thing tuck up and under and push his head out the top. That's great, but the rest of it's just a lot of folding and unfolding and refolding with tons of tedious precision tab work and more panels than Primetime Dave. I don't know how else they would have done it though. Check out this ruddy helicopter. Blackout's show-stopping alt mode, or rather show-starting alt mode, is a mighty strike in Sky Brute. It's huge, brash and bulky, long as hell, and absolutely dominates the Disguise Time Decepticon to the point that I don't know if it's too big, even by its own rules. What a big chopper. The cockpit is once again the goat, bulbous and believable with that big weird jousting spike for a serious poke in the Ironhide. Rotors are pure smooth grooving euphoria. Sculpting and detail are superb, sporting laser tight lines and an ocean of rivets, along with righteous regalia and the douchey private jet call sign there. We all know that anecdote, right? 4500X? That's the number of Michael Bay's personal plane. Ugh. Bore off, jock. But, man, it's so difficult to ignore that it's constantly seconds from disaster. The illusion's really holding on by a hair out here. Like, the skin-deep panels are visibly just barely clinging together, marred with misalignments and these deep fissures all around. There's some serious Airfix kit vibes on the go here. It looks like I built it and didn't do a great job, but it wasn't me. Loading bay's extremely naked back here, but it does at least work, with Scorponok all snug up the colon. And I know we're not doing action features anymore. I know they probably would have just ruined it, but hear me out. I really miss them on a helicopter, you know? Am I terrible for wishing it had a rotor trigger? That's the level of noisy jank I crave. It's such a tough one, because I almost love it. It does look nearly awesome, and it feels so good to hold a huge plastic pave low, but I think it could have used another week on the drawing board and like 8% more incinerator. So much as Leader Blackout may be a messy bitch, it remains one of the first big wins for the studio series. It was such a big moment, and in spite of its flaws and lack of gimmicks, I'm glad this was the Leader Blackout we got. Because I know we felt its absence in 07, and I know we always wanted it, but the leaders of the day were unequivocally a in shambles. You know they would have fumbled it. This is a classier kind of kid, and looking at it 6 years on, I feel like we've advanced sufficiently that I kind of like to see a V2. Because Studio Series has now lived through 2 whole generations of generations. It was Power of the Primes when this came out, and now we're at the Ascender Legacy. We're as far away from this toy's release as the beginning of G1 was from Action Masters. This is retro now. It's a relic. We've moved on. We can do better, and we should. It doesn't even need that much. A tweak here, an upgrade there, and we'd be laughing. Maybe that's Grindor. I haven't checked out Grindor. Is it good? Maybe I just need a Grindor. So cheers for joining me for this Blackout lovin'. Catch me again for more explosive robot nonsense as Baypril bangs on. Bye! Boom, baby, that's Baypril. Cheers for watching, gang. Hope you enjoyed this one. Muchos apreciados, as per usual, to all the patron fam. In particular, Leo Sol. Thank you, mate. Right, back to it. Catch you soon.
Be sure to subscribe for more Thew's awesome Transformers reviews. Limited appeal, keeping it real.